the fastest way to buy Bitcoin in Australia from an exchange you can trust. Bitcoin.com.au.
Blockchain technology, it's clear we are seeing something quite revolutionary that's going to change the world.
I don't need recognition. I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues. I'm in position. I'm staying up. It's getting late. You're doing good. I'm doing great.
It's a huge push to connect the physical world with the blockchain.
It's always a good idea for investors to make the trend the trend.
You're doing good. I'm doing great.
Hello and welcome to the season finale of Coincast TV. I'm Kmar Johnson. Tonight we've got an exclusive interview with the man who co-founded crypto giant Ethereum, how blockchain is helping you get a home loan faster, and the rise of the social media newsmakers. We'll share the feeds to follow to keep your finger on the crypto pulse. But first, here's Tessa Dempster with what made headlines this week.
Thanks, Kmar. Singapore's sovereign wealth fund has announced it's investing in the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance. Vertex Ventures says it'll work with the exchange to set up a fiat to crypto exchange as well as other services across Southeast Asia. Binance Singapore will be up and running within months. In other news, a West Australian energy startup has proven once again the sky's the limit. Power Ledger has been named the winner of a global technology competition run by Sir Richard Branson. The company will receive endorsements worth millions. Branson himself named the victor at an event held at his Caribbean island. A week after Tether tanked, another stablecoin has broken its peg with the US dollar. Gemini went north above the dollar mark as the cryptocurrency's price hit an all-time high on Tuesday. That's the week in blockchain. Kmar.
Considered one of the most influential people in blockchain, Joe Lubin is kind of a big deal. He co-founded top-tier crypto Ethereum and software company Consensus. Lubin met with Coincast guest reporter Trader Cobb to talk about decentralized identity solutions, journalism, and what's next for his newest venture.
Hey guys, Trader Cobb here. I'm on location for Coincast TV in sunny Sydney for the Consensus event. I'm about to go upstairs and interview the man himself, Joe Lubin. Let me talk about what you're doing with Consensus. I'm very interested as your business continues to, as I said to one of your staff members before, it's almost like an octopus. It has many different arms and the arms keep on growing. So what were the beginnings and what's your focus for Consensus from where you are right now?
So Consensus is a four-tentacled octopus.
Half octopus.
Half octopus. So we do product, we do consulting, we do education, and we do capital markets activities. And we have lots of projects that are essentially protocol-based open platforms. So Ethereum is a protocol-based open platform. You can write smart contracts on Ethereum. Some of those smart contracts can be, or sets of smart contracts can be, protocol-based open platforms themselves. We have one in the music industry, working on healthcare and supply chain and various other niches, dynamic workforce assembly. So all those things we think of as network businesses rather than a corporation delivering value to customers. We have this network of different actors, people and companies that can come together on this protocol, and you often have a token that represents the business logic that holds all of that together.
What's particularly exciting for you at the moment with what's coming through Consensus and what you've created? I mean, there must be a lot going on.
A few things I'll touch on really quickly. Decentralized identity. Our Uport project has created different versions of self-sovereign identity. I think we have a very exciting, viable candidate construct for decentralized identity, and Ethereum is the implementation or Uport's the Ethereum implementation. Journalism, the Civil project is one of the most important projects in my mind. If we're going to govern with these new decentralized mechanisms, we're building all these different voting mechanisms. We need good information, and the journalism industry has been decimated over the last 10, 20 years, rolled up into conglomerates and private equity and hedge funds. We need ethical journalism, and we need a sustainable business model for journalism, and I think Sybil's going to provide that. Ethereum is moving into phase 2 of its existence, where we've established this radically decentralized trust layer, layer 1 of Ethereum, and now we're building in state channels and side chains and plasma mechanisms, layer 2 technology that will take us to tens of thousands of transactions per second that derive the real security from the base layer. I think we're going to have some breakthroughs in the consumer space probably this year, hopefully in journalism, hopefully in games, but you know, the people who are using it are the people who are building it, and that's going to go, I think, well for a while.
It's been Joe Levin, Trader Cobb. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Speaking of big hitters, Dr. Garrick Heilman is considered one of the most influential economists in the UK, a professor at some of the top universities in London and the head of research at crypto wallet blockchain. Dr. Heilman is well versed in the language of data.
Few have studied the roller coaster rides of digital currency more than Dr. Garrick Heilman.
Many people have been reluctant to purchase digital assets, use digital assets because of their volatility.
He's been ranked in the 100 most influential economists in the UK and Ireland, and has done a mountain of research in the crypto asset space.
So we found out some very interesting things about the stablecoin ecosystem with this research report.
That's one of his most recent findings in this 80-page report, The State of Stablecoins.
There's a ton of stablecoins. We found over 57, and the number is rapidly growing.
The study looked at all types of stablecoins, including asset-backed coins.
It's designed to be price stable against a peg, so like the US dollar.
Crypto asset-backed stablecoins.
So they use things like the Ethereum currency.
And algorithmic coins.
Use an algorithm to try to match supply and demand.
Like the rest of the crypto world, Dr. Heilman says many investors are still waiting to see which horse they should back when it comes to stablecoins.
We also found that investors are backing multiple stablecoins, and one of the things that tells us is that they're not sure about which design is the best.
But that hasn't stopped an inflow of capital.
There's a lot of money that's being poured into stablecoins. Over $350 million in venture capital has been raised. Asset-backed stablecoins actually have raised more money than algorithmic ones. And I think that speaks to some of the uncertainty that people have about how stable algorithmic coins will actually be. And so people are putting capital behind safer, more tested stablecoin approaches.
His research found the same approach by investors on the recent $600 million run on US dollar-backed stablecoin Tether.
But of the $600 million roughly that was drained out of Tether, only roughly 100+ million of that went into other stablecoins. So we think the other 500 million went into things like Bitcoin.
Seeing Bitcoin as the more stable coin.
Let's go to the top cryptocurrencies of the week, brought to you by Caleb and Brown.
This week, Bitcoin's short volume is sitting 50% greater than longs, demonstrating a negative market sentiment as people seem to expect the price to drop. However, a market's overexposure to shorts could spell a susceptibility to a short squeeze, which could result in a rapid price rally. On this segment, I'd like to highlight a few key dates in the coming months. Firstly, the Backed Futures Exchange is expected to launch on the 12th of December this year. Now, futures tend to be a market rationalizing force, and it's very possible that the media attention surrounding the launch date could lead to a disruption in the speculative crypto market, particularly nearing that trading launch date. An example of this was Bitcoin's 2017 bubble around the launch of the CBOE futures. On the other hand, ETFs tend to provide long exposure to an asset class, and developments on this continue, with the SEC's decision date on the SolidX VanEck ETF delayed till late December. However, considering the SEC's prior track record, this decision could be delayed even further to sometime in February. Now to Monero. The top privacy coin successfully performed its cryptography update named Bulletproofs. This update improves Monero's scalability, reducing transaction fees by up to 95%, down to an average of just about 2 cents. As the cryptocurrency industry develops, the need for private transactions on a public blockchain becomes increasingly valuable, seeing demand in everything from employee salaries to private business transactions. If you've been following our segment all season, please check out a summary of our portfolio's performance on coincastnews.com. That's all for top cryptos of the week. Kima?
After the break, Data Dan looks at making lemonade with financial lemons, and they're here. Yes, blockchain smartphones have arrived, but there's a catch.
You're doing good, I'm doing great.
Welcome back. The big players of the blockchain and crypto world gathered in Dubai this week for the World Blockchain Summit. Our guest reporter Trader Cobb was there to give us an insider's look.
It's one of the largest and most populated cities in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, known for its record-breaking architecture, man-made islands and the world's tallest tower. Now the city is setting its sights on a new digital architecture, blockchain. Held at a luxury hotel in Dubai's financial hub, the World Blockchain Summit hosted global tech gurus, key industry players, government authorities, investors and developers. The summit featured use cases for the technology in business, government, as well as panel discussions, tech talks, and don't forget about all the networking opportunities. Because it wouldn't be a conference without canopies and cocktails and maybe a few camels.
Blockchain is not a panacea. It is not something that, oh, my business is a blockchain. There's blockchain on this, blockchain on that. And exactly, correct. I mean, if you build it, they will not come. That's just not how the world works. And so one of the key things I've been focusing on is, well, how do we get blockchain to resonate with the common people, right? With just everybody.
Dubai has been using the technology to shake up major industry sectors such as finance and health. This year, the city went through the process of standardising blockchain-related activities by establishing the first court of the blockchain. Sounds very official. The court will position Dubai at the forefront of legal tech and judicial innovation, with the aim of setting a global legal standard for blockchain. All in all, the self-declared happiest city on earth seems pretty jovial about the technology. Next up, the World Blockchain Summit heads to Amsterdam before rounding out the year in Saudi Arabia.
Now, the charts might not always be pretty, but volatility can sometimes lead to financial victory. Here's Data Dan to explain.
The saying, misery loves company, is perhaps best applied to the New York Stock Exchange when it's facing headwinds. In other words, a correction. Now, in the last month, the US Dow Jones has dropped by as much as 7%. Now, when you compare that to the likes of the European DAX and indeed London's FTSE, it makes for quite sobering reading when those two indices are facing corrections of 10% in the last 4 weeks. So the question then begs, how do the likes of the MSCI World Index compare to Bitcoin and indeed Ripple? Well, if we look at Ripple, for example, it's had a staggering performance. In fact, it's up almost 30% next to the MSCI World Index over the same period. Whereas Bitcoin has now started to outperform the global stock market. It's quite interesting reading. In fact, it just goes to show what happens when sentiment takes hold. It can play havoc with even the most sensible of asset classes. So the question here that now begs is, misery loves company, but it's not for cryptos, it's for the equity markets.
Well, it's been a busy month of smartphone releases with some of the biggest telcos putting blockchain on speed dial.
Hello, can you hear me? It's blockchain calling. In a craze that's eerily similar to when Steve Jobs revealed Apple's first iPhone, blockchain is dialing into the telecommunications industry. Tech giant HTC has answered the call. Its blockchain-powered HTC Exodus is now available for pre-order online. In a slight catch, you can't buy it with cash though. You'll need some Ether or Bitcoin for that. Siren Labs is also dialing in with its Android-based smartphone, Finny.
There is a big gap between the blockchain economy and the mass market because you need to be almost a missile scientist to be able to buy a token and use it. What we are trying to do is bridge that gap and make the friction very smaller.
Crypto firm PundiX also has blockchain's number, after developing the crypto point-of-sale units it's better known for.
So crypto point-of-sales is essentially a stripped-down version or a modified version of an Android phone.
It's called X-Phone, but PundiX is more interested in enabling other companies to build their own blockchain phones using their ecosystem, which they've called Function X.
Our ultimate aim is to let other manufacturers manufacture the phone.
While all three might look like regular smartphones, they do pack a few extra features.
And here you can see the extra screen that allow you to validate the transactions, dApps, you can play the dApps, you can get airdrops, you can do everything you want to do on that phone. It looks really great, and hopefully you'll get one.
They also feature built-in cold storage, so you can store your digital dollars offline.
I think blockchain phone now is revolutionary, just like the mobile phone was initially, but in a few years from now, every phone will have a wallet element, and you'll continue to call it a phone, but all of them will have it.
So, call me maybe?
Let's take a look at the projects to watch, brought to you by CTIA.
A crypto startup that allows you to margin trade on Ethereum has raised $10 million US. The company is developing financial software that cuts out the middleman and allows you to borrow money from another person without the need for a broker. US-based crypto exchange Coinbase has developed an automated security scaling tool that's available to the public for free. Named after the Roman goddess for safety and well-being, the program can automatically run different security scanners and produce reports. Japanese startup accelerator Brain Holdings is helping companies to design and develop applications using artificial intelligence. Brain specializes in working with companies to bring their ideas to life in fields such as AI, the Internet of Things, drones, and of course, blockchain. Those are this week's projects to watch.
After the break, a look at the week ahead and how blockchain can help you get a home loan.
You're doing good, I'm doing great.
Welcome back. A fintech startup is using blockchain to cut the home loan application process down to just 5 days. It's a massive time saver that can get you into your new home faster.
I'm joined now by someone who was recently named amongst Australia's top 100 most influential women, Ruth Hatherley from Moneycatcher. Now, HomeChain reduces the amount of time it takes to apply for a mortgage down to just 5 days. How is that even possible?
Traditionally, home loans in Australia and in many other places around the world are taking on average about 42 days. And one of the biggest factors that is causing that to happen is that about 60% of applications are reworked, and they're reworked between 9 and 11 times. The reason for that is that the way that home loans are processed once they're in a lending institution is by different departments performing different activities throughout that journey from application to settlement. What HomeChain and the blockchain component of HomeChain really enables is the connectivity of each of those steps from submission right through to settlement. It also enables trust and transparency of the data and a significant amount of speed because we are connecting and retrieving information from sources of truth as opposed to supplying a lot of paper along the way. So that enables the application to be reduced from 42 days down to around about 5.
So what are some of the other ways that blockchain technology is disrupting the financial sector?
Yeah, this is a really great journey blockchain has been on over the last few years. We started with simple experiments and proof of concepts a couple of years ago, but blockchain's really moving into real life use cases and going into production. There's some wonderful examples around the world and here in Australia as well with payment solutions, trade finance solutions. There's also some solutions where financial institutions are collaborating with other industries for things like logistics and supply chain management. Where I think we'll see some really huge disruption over the year of 2018 and into 2019 is the space of compliance and risk management, and also around open banking. That part of the industry or that sector has got a microscope on it at the moment, and we're really looking for new and innovative ways, even driven by Scott Morrison himself as our Prime Minister and back when he was Treasurer, encouraging the solutions for open banking to consider blockchain as a viable option to help solve those challenges. I can't wait to see what comes in the market, but the disruption is definitely there.
Now, HSBC is your first customer. Do you think that we'll see other lending institutions get on board?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for HSBC Australia, it was beautiful to have as our first marquee and collaboration and that we did in Australia here. The environment that we're in at the moment is enabling a lot of collaboration with regulators, financial institutions, government bodies, and fintech and regtech providers. We've been really fortunate to be involved in a number of conversations over 2018, and we're really excited about a number of announcements that should be coming forward with some engagements that we've been really solidifying over the last few months into 2019. But I think you'll see a lot of financial institutions working with fintech organisations to see how they can really change the way that they deliver digital solutions, both internally as B2B and externally as out to the customers as well.
Ruth Hatherley, thank you for joining me. Back to you in the studio.
Now to Katie McDonald for a look at the week ahead.
The parent company of the New York Stock Exchange says its crypto trading platform Bakkt might officially launch in December. Pending approval, Bakkt could soon start offering physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts as soon as December 12. It'll be the platform's first crypto-related offering. And in conferences, the Malta Blockchain Hackathon and Summit starts next Wednesday, with regulations, marketing, and new tech developments all on the agenda. Kmart.
They're smart, they're savvy, and what they say can change the crypto market. We're talking about the influencers of crypto on social media. So we at Coincast TV asked, what influences the influencers?
Who can you turn to?
I'm really excited to have you here on this crazy journey
when you need to know the latest in the crypto world.
What is going on, people? It's your boy, Shil Nye.
The influencers. People like Nye,
aka Nye the Crypto Guy.
Crypto Heidi.
So for Crypto Heidi, definitely I talk with a lot of investors, a lot of entrepreneurs.
And the Crypto Lark.
And let's go to the moon together.
And in the crypto world, their word counts.
First of all, influencers are usually the early adopters about the new space.
The influencers in cryptocurrency are filling in a really important gap.
Between them, they have over 200,000 followers on social media. And you don't get a large following like that unless you've got cred.
The most important thing as a cryptocurrency influencer is to be honest with your community. If there's some BS on a project, call it out.
Which means the influencer's opinions can influence the market.
Important as news sites in the space. They're just important as news sites, specifically because they're in the day-to-day. They're there in every single moment.
And in a market that's full of twists and turns, they say their followers can rely on stable opinions.
It's still a brand new industry. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And people like to feel comfortable when they're communicating with others.
Because of that, they say they are regularly approached to spruik new projects, but
I have never taken an advisory role.
It's a big problem because it hurts the space. It hurts what we are here and what we stand for.
So what is their advice to traders?
Guys, just stay safe out there. Don't go over investing your money.
Getting in now is still relatively early to the game.
Words of authority in a market which doesn't have an authority.
Thanks for joining us this season for Coincast TV. For more about tonight's stories, go to coincasttv.com. You can also find us on Apple TV and catch some of our stories on the Wall Street Journal online. To get your weekly crypto fix, make sure you subscribe to our social media channels. Until next season, keep hodling.